You use his products. You've probably drunk his tequila. But I'd bet everything that you have no idea who built those empires or what it cost him to get there. His name is John Paul DeJoria. And his story is one of the most brutally honest proofs that the difference between a nobody and a billionaire is not talent, not connections, not luck. It's what you do when the door slams in your face. Stay with me, because this one is gonna hit different. Let's go back to Los Angeles, 1944. Echo Park, not the gentrified version you see today, the kind of neighborhood where kids sold newspapers before school just to help the family eat. That was John Paul DeJoria at 9 years old, selling Christmas cards and newspapers on the street because his immigrant parents couldn't make ends meet. When they divorced, he and his brother were sent to foster care. Let that land for a second. The man who would one day sign Warren Buffett's giving pledge. The man who built 2 brands you've seen in every salon and every bar in America. Started life being handed off to strangers because his family had nothing left to give. Most people never recover from a childhood like that. Not emotionally, not financially. The data is clear. Generational poverty is one of the hardest cycles in the world to break. John Paul DeJoria didn't just break it, he obliterated it. But not right away, not even close. By his early 20s, DeJoria had tried everything. Door-to-door encyclopedia sales, a job so brutal that the average salesman lasted 3 days. DeJoria lasted 3 years. He once said, "Tough job, you're just cold calling. Doors slam literally in your face, maybe 30, 40 doors before the first customer will actually talk to you." Think about that. 30, 40 doors slammed before one person said yes. Most people quit at door 2. DeJoria kept going and kept going and kept going. And here's the thing, he wasn't keeping score of the rejections. He was keeping score of what he was learning. He eventually landed a job at a hair care company called Redken. Within 18 months, he was running both their beauty schools and their salon chain, rising fast, showing everyone what he was capable of. And then he got fired. Not for underperforming, for refusing to play politics, for refusing to kiss the right rings, for being exactly who he was in a room full of people who needed him to be someone else. He was homeless the first time at 22. He rebuilt, got back up, tried again, and then at 26, he was homeless a second time. Living out of his car on Sunset Strip, a single father, broke, with a 2-year-old son. Not once, twice. Here's what I want you to sit with. Most of us have been knocked down once and called it a reason to stop dreaming. This man was knocked down to the pavement twice. And both times, his first thought was not, why me? It was, what's next? 1,980. DeJoria is still living in his car, an old Rolls-Royce, ironically parked on Sunset Strip. He connects with a hairdresser named Paul Mitchell. 2 broke guys, one shared belief that they could build something better than what existed. They scraped together $700, some of it borrowed. And they started John Paul Mitchell Systems. $700. That's it. No investors, no pitch decks, no venture capital. They started selling door-to-door to salons. And the rejections came hard. The big distributors tried to shut them out. The established brands saw them as a threat and worked to make sure no one would touch them. Salon after salon turned them away. But DeJoria had already spent years getting doors slammed in his face. He once said, "The biggest hurdle is rejection. Any business you start, be ready for it. When 10 doors are slammed in your face, go to door number 11 enthusiastically with a smile on your face." That wasn't a philosophy he invented sitting in a boardroom. That was a survival skill he forged in the streets. By the end of year 2, John Paul Mitchell Systems hit $1 million in revenue. By year 5, $10 million. By year 10, over $100 million. And Paul Mitchell never took outside investment, ever. To this day, it remains one of the largest privately held salon hair care companies in the world. Over 300 products. Over 100,000 salons worldwide. More than $1 billion in annual revenue. From $700 and a car that doubled as a bedroom. But that's only half the story. In 1989, tragedy hit. Paul Mitchell died. His partner, his co-founder, the man who'd stood next to him when nobody else would. Most people would have retreated, consolidated, protected what they had. DeJoria expanded. A friend showed him a small batch tequila being made in Mexico, something completely unlike anything in the American market. While everyone else was selling cheap tequila, DeJoria saw a gap nobody was taking seriously: ultra premium. He co-founded Patron Spirits Company. The industry told him Americans wouldn't pay premium prices for tequila. He ignored them. Patron became the #1 ultra premium tequila in the world. In 2018, he sold his stake to Bacardi for a deal valuing the company at over $5 billion. Part 4 of 4. Now here's what I want to talk about, because this is the part most people skip when they tell this story. It wasn't hustle alone. It wasn't grinding 20 hours a day. It was something DeJoria said himself that I think cuts deeper than any motivational quote you've ever heard. Success is how well you do what you do when no one is looking. Read that again. When no one is watching. When there's no applause. When you're parked on Sunset Strip at 2 a.m. in a car you can't afford to fix, and you still believe in what you're building. That is the variable most people skip. Not the strategy, not the capital, not the connections. The standard you hold yourself to in private. DeJoria also said, the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is that successful people do all the things unsuccessful people don't want to do. Think about what he was doing in 1980 when he said that. He wasn't a billionaire giving a TED Talk. He was a homeless, single father with $700 and a dream that everyone around him thought was insane. He was describing what he was already doing, not what he planned to do someday. And one more. Maybe the one that says the most about who this man is. Success unshared is failure. He signed Warren Buffett and Bill Gates' giving pledge, a commitment to give the majority of his wealth to charity. He funds anti-poaching organizations. He supports clean water initiatives. He's put millions into communities that look a lot like Echo Park in 1953, where a 9-year-old boy sold newspapers so his family could eat. He never forgot where he came from. And he turned that memory into fuel for 4 decades. So what's the lesson here? What does the story of John Paul DeJoria actually teach us? Not that you need to be born tough, not that you need to suffer to succeed. It's simpler and harder than that. It's that rejection is not a sign that you're on the wrong path. It's a filter. It's the thing that clears the lane of everyone who wanted it a little less than you did. Every door that slammed in DeJoria's face didn't stop him. It trained him. It taught him how to smile at door 11 and door 40 and door 100. The world doesn't reward the most talented. It rewards the ones who refuse to let the number of closed doors determine the number of times they knock. If this story hit you, don't let it fade by tomorrow. Write down the door you've been afraid to knock on. The one you've been telling yourself is probably closed anyway. Because here's what John Paul DeJoria proved. The door isn't the problem. You are, and you can fix that. If this channel is where you come to think differently about your life and your money, hit subscribe. We don't post for the algorithm. We post when we have something worth your time. Notorious asset. I'll see you in the next one.